sperm cell beat out 1 million others to the egg. And you had nothing to do with that race at all. Nothing. So it's about God saying, God is true in Psalm 139 where He forms and fashions you and your children in the mother's womb, and God gave you the exact child you need. But at the same time, though, for some reason I don't know, who you are as a person, your personality, what you've done in your past, how you think, what you like and don't like, is perfect for the child you have. Now, I'm going, you gotta be kidding me, but it's true. I have 2 boys. One son is 32 years old. He's a school teacher, inner city kid in Dallas ISD. His school is 1.5 miles due east of the Cotton Bowl, so it's going to be a pretty tough school for sure. My other son is 18, a senior in high school this year. So we have a big giant gap in between those. We were told we got married. My wife is having any children. She's upside down. And so we got to adopt a child. But 4 years into our marriage, poof, here comes Josh, the first child. And we forgot about it. And 14 years later, here comes Ty. So I'm 42, she's 40. We have a child. I'm like, wow. So you got to let God is in control of your life. This is big to me. Here's why I came. I've been a youth minister 30 years of my life full time. Then for the last 10 years, I've been teaching in Southwestern. Richard Rawls is my mentor. Since 1978, he's been mentoring me forever, and I love the man. I owe my life to him. He has the hair, we don't. It's not fair at all. But to go back, with all my stock, I can tell you, I think this generation of youth is the most crucial generation we've ever had in our country. For a lot of reasons why, and I don't have time to tell you all about it. I'll take a couple real fast. Did you know that right now in our country, those who are between the ages of 11, we're really 10 to 23, there are 93 million of them. That is over 1/3 of the U.S. population. That means when today's 11-year-olds cross 18 years of age and can vote, that generation, you will never, ever outvote them. They will always outvote you and me. They're the biggest of all. With my generation, we're the second biggest. We're the baby boomers. We're at 68 million. We're dying pretty fast, okay? And they're going on strong. They will blow it. They will choose the next presidents, the mayors, the governors. Amazing to me. In fact, it's going to blow you away. I don't ever listen to presidents when they give their victory speech after they win. To me, it's kind of boring. But when Obama won in 2012, I thought, I'm going to see what he has to say. Now, I didn't vote for Obama, okay? But he's still our president. We pray for him, we support him all that we can, unless he goes against God's word. Does that make sense? Until then, I'm going to pray for him all the time and support him all that I possibly can. But in his speech that night, that Tuesday night, I was stunned. He only thanked one group of people, just one. You know who it was? Today's teenagers. You know why? That vote a few years back, those who were 18 to 20 years of age and could vote, who registered to vote, 87% voted for Obama. That is 2.9 million votes, and he won by 2.2 million votes. They swept him into office. Only with 3 years we didn't even vote. I'm going, wow, they are a powerful generation. I give my life for them. But drop the U.S. In the world today, 68% of the world's population is under 19 years of age. 55% of Africa is under 15 years of age. You tell me, if 68% of the world's population is under the age of 19, who do you think is going to rule the world in about 7 to 10 years by sheer number alone? This generation of youth, I would give my life in a second for them. In a second. In fact, are they not already changing the world? What happened 2.5 years ago when the Arab Spring took place in the Middle East? There was all these uprisings in Egypt and Libya. Who started those? Us? You? No. Teenagers, college students, and very, very young adults with social media. They have swept the face of the Middle East, and it will not be the same again. If you know today, I read this morning, that the Kurds are crossing over into the Syrian country. In Syria today, to battle ISIS themselves. They're moving into another country to battle ISIS. I'm going, the Middle East is crazy right now. But who started it? Teenagers. Wow. That's why I pay money for you. So we're going to spend the day looking at influencing your teenager. We're going to laugh a little bit too, but I know our time is so short, and I'll go as long as I possibly can until it's time to go at 10 o'clock. So on your handout called Influencing Your Family, your teenager, your children really, that's the one we're going to use mainly. Before we do, let me show you something kind of cool. I want to show you a clip. We're going to look today at your perspective and how God can use you to be able to influence your family at this time in history. Now, I don't know if you're single, married, divorced, remarried, doesn't matter. You can't change your past. You put your past in God's hands and you go on with your life. Does that make sense? Now, show the German Coast Guard commercial. This is a commercial of a German Coast Guard Marine who's being trained for the first night in the German Coast Guard to run the radio for ships who have an SOS. Watch what happens. I love this. So cool.
Das hier ist im Einsektor. Das hier ist das wichtigste Gerichtswissenschaft. Das wird das Überlebensradar.
This is the German Coast Guard.
We're thinking.
What are you thinking about?
Okay, thanks, George. George, get on the hum. The one called
Das hier ist im Einsektor. Das hier ist das wichtigste Gerichtswissenschaft. Das wird das Überlebensradar.
When we look at, sometimes it's hard to understand the language he's talking today. It really is. Okay, this isn't even what we're facing as adults when our children moving into this generation. I love it also. George, you're my hero.
Feet of clay.
Now watch what they say when they're texting. We are talking. They're texting. They're not talking. Don't yell. Just you're texting. You follow. I love that for you. Our scar, I can't tell. Thanks, Doris. Get ready for the other. We'll show you in a few moments. We'll go kind of back to back. Okay, we're taking I got to tell you stories. What I'm going to tell you, this is not a joke. This is not made up. This is real. My mother passed away 2 years ago. At her funeral, my best friend and myself were doing the service. My best friend is my mother's pastor in Lake Charles, Louisiana. And so I did a little personal remarks. He's doing the actual sermon. He gets up, when he stands at the front of the podium at this big funeral, he asks my mother's best friend, Helen, to stand up. And Helen is about 88 years old. My mom was 83 when she died. She stands up, can hardly even stand. And he tells this story about Helen. Blew me away. I said, is this true? He goes, it is true. Helen's husband, Bob, had died 3 years earlier at my mom's funeral. 4 years before Bob died, Bob and Helen's house was robbed. They had a home robbery while they were there at the house. They tied them up, put them on a couch, and they robbed their house in front of them. Okay? When they finished robbing their house, they walked over to Helen and Bob, and the main guy, the guy that seemed to be in charge, says to Helen and Bob, listen, this is not personal. We don't hate you. We just need your money. Okay? There's nothing against you. We don't even know who you are. We just chose your house at random. So we really apologize for any of these. But you've seen us. You've heard us talk. We have to kill you. But when it's not personal, we don't even know you. So he puts the gun to Helen's head. And Bob's watching with his hands cupped behind him. And with the gun to Helen's head, he says, no, he goes, before I kill you, I've never killed anybody that I didn't know what their name was. So tell me your name before I kill you. And she goes, my name is Helen. And he says, what? He goes, say it again, my name is Helen. And she goes, there's no way your name is Helen, ma'am. There's no way. Goes, yes, it is. He goes, well, prove it. Well, I can't because my hands are tied on my back. But if you'll check in my purse, which you just robbed, and get out my wallet, you'll see that my driver's license, it'll say Helen. So he opens it up, and sure enough, it's Helen. He goes, Helen, you are Helen. Your name is Helen. And he turns to his two friends, we can't kill this woman. We can't. Well, why? Because her name is Helen. Well, big deal. No, my mother's name is Helen. I can kill nobody whose name is my mother's name, Helen. I can't kill this woman. Okay, I will kill her husband, but not her. Now listen, woman, we kill your husband. If you say one word, we will come back and find you or hurt you. Okay? So he puts the gun to Bob's head. He says to Bob, sir, what is your name? He says, my name is Bob, but everybody calls me Helen. And no lie, that guy started laughing. He said, we can't kill these people. They are so funny. Forget it. He said, just don't turn us in, and they let him live. No lie, and they never turned him in. at all, because they're like 88 years old. What do they have to lose anymore? I love that. So we're going to look at the perspective. Here's my challenge to you today. We're going to look at influencing your family. Okay? Here's my question. Is the culture that they live in today so awful and so terrible? We got time. I can't go to culture more, but our time is too short. If I got to do a class, there's 28 hour-and-a-half classes, and it's all on youth culture. Okay? But is the culture today so bad that we have to pull our kids out of the culture to protect them from it? Or can they be equipped? Can they be influenced by us as a family and the church and equipped to live in the world, but not be of the world? Or is it too difficult? Does that make sense? So let me show you a clip. It's going to blow you away. It's a girl and a boy. They're both seniors in high school last year. They took a challenge to create a Coke commercial on the most outrageous way to share a Coke. The rules of the contest, they won the national championship. The rules of the contest is this. You had to do it, plan your commercial, do it, and video it, and edit it, and then either show the commercial or do what you're doing in front of a crowd of people. You had one day to do it in. One day only had to be done during your finals at school. You could not buy anything at all. They gave you free Coke product, but everything else that you used, you couldn't buy anything. You had to borrow it or beg it away. When I watched this commercial, I realized, you know what? If they can do this, walking with Jesus Christ is not rocket science. So watch this, then we'll hop into how to begin to influence this generation. I love this commercial.
Hey guys, I'm Majesty.
And I'm Josh, aka the Computer Nerd 01.
Coca-Cola asked us to come up with the most outrageous way to share a Coke.
We came up with a bunch of great ideas, and we decided to do them all. In one epic machine.
We got a bunch of engineering students to make it happen.
There's only one problem. We gotta get this thing done by the end of finals. Crunch time! Hey, can we use your mattress or something?
This drives are heavy.
Just one day, y'all. You had to borrow everything.
Yeah.
All right, we're plugging it in first.
Let's go in. Let's plug it in first. It's going to blow you away. Watch this. Make it all done.
Let's mess it up. Trust me, it'll work.
This guy right here is about to go flying into the sky and can't wait.
Love angry nerd.
You were down to the wire. We had a ton of issues with this earlier today. We wanted to try to figure it out.
Yeah, I think that'll work.
Now, here goes. It's going to blow you away. They can do this. They can walk with Jesus Christ.
Is everybody ready?
It's so creative. Butter and popcorn. Red, yellow, red. All for that. Why? Cool.
Now that's how you share a Coke.
Okay, thank you, Joel. Isn't that amazing? But what can they do to be challenges? We give you one little tip to go fast. We're going to hop into the sheet called influencing your family or your children. Courchenet is a man that studies brains. They're my brain scans he got created in 03 at Harvard University. When he did his brain studies from 2010 2012, he found one amazing thing out. The brain of a teenager is immature. That surprise you? Duh, okay. But, you ready for this? It shouldn't be. It should not be. So when a teenager, at around ages 11 to about 15, if they're challenged with adult-like responsibilities, their brain matures faster. And they'll move into adulthood a lot quicker and make wiser choices. And then we wallow, the more we challenge them. So we're going to look at how do we begin to challenge our team? Where do we start at? Ready? Try to pray a lot. Well, we love you so much. And with the time we have left, I pray we can jump into your word and who you are and begin to look at what's happening. Now we as men and women who love our children, Father, these men and women here today, this morning, wouldn't be here. They didn't love their children. They love you. Come here, bald old guy with a mustache. So we give you this time, God. Speak to your hearts. From your spirit, from your word, from each other. This is yours. Christ, we pray, amen. On your notes, we're going to skip number 1, hop number 2 quickly. Understand this very important truth. You will influence your children. You will. And the only choice you have is what kind of influence you will give them. That's it. Now, let me say something that's going to blow you away. I'm going to give you some brand new research over the last couple of years. If you're a father in this room, or you're married, you have a father at the house, and you have a daughter at home, raise your hand. Daughter. Okay? It's going to blow you away. The news research is this. If you have a daughter at your house, preferably they're younger the better. Okay? If the father in that home shows the mother respect, honor, and love, not saying he's romantic because you don't mean that at all, but he gives her honor and respect in front of the daughter. She sees how he treats his wife. In her little mind, she thinks these thoughts. Look how the man that I love the most, look how he treats the woman I love the most. It must be really important to be a girl. She'll move into her teenage years with a high respect for her femininity. And in 89% of the cases, she will not settle for any boy in her life that will not give her the same respect she watched her father give to her mother. Is that not powerful? But if the father in that family does not give the mother, unless he's having an affair or is into pornography, not that at all, but if he doesn't give the mother respect, he makes fun of her, he ridicules her, teases her in negative kind of ways over the long haul. It's not kinder, it doesn't open doors for her. That little girl will think this in her mind. Look how the man that I love the most, look how he treats the woman I love the most. It must not be very important to be a female. She'll move into her teenage years with a lack of respect for who she is as a woman. And in 87% of the cases, she will settle for any boy in her life that will give her the attention she never saw her father give her mother. Is that not amazing to you? That's one little small impact which you can have. Take a little step further. Tell me in the Bible, what is the very first thing ever that God commanded the man to do? What's the very first job before the woman was even created? The first job a man was ever given by God. You Crandall hire people that are so smart and wise.
Name.
Very good. And tell me your name again.
Greg.
Hey, Chris, good to see you. I've seen you before. Greg, good to see your face. I've seen you before. Good to see you, Greg. Yes, right. Now, isn't that crazy to name the animals? Well, why? Whatever you call them, that's what they will become. Hippo, hippo. Giraffe, giraffe. Lion, lion. Cat, cat. Dog, dog. Amoeba, amoeba. Whatever you call that animal, it'll become. Isn't it odd to you that the first job given to a man was to speak truth into the lives of others? And whatever he said about them, they became that. You know what's really odd about that? It transfers to today's world, doesn't it? The father speaks truth in the lives of the children and the spouse. And they tend to become what that father speaks into their heart. Isn't that kind of scary to you? Oh, wow. You know, crazy. Think about this. If you have a daughter, and she needs to grow up, and she comes to a time in her life where she has to dress up for her first party, like a nice formal, it's going to be a really, maybe a prom at school or some big church party, and she dresses up real nice. Who helps her put her clothes on? The mom. Who helps her put her makeup on? The mom. Who helps get her hair ready to go? The mom. So here's this girl with her hair done, her makeup on, her dress is great, and then they goes, oh, honey, you're just amazing. My little girl, she's grown up. And the girl feels good. But she knows what? I have not arrived until what? Yes, she walks outside that bedroom door, walks down the hallway, right down the stairs. Here's the father. He's in the front room, and he's reading a book. And he sees her out of the corner of his eye, and he goes, puts the book down, goes, honey, come here. And she walks to him very, very timidly, but also pretty proud. And she stands in front of him. And he stands up and he looks at her. face, all the way down to her shoes, and down to her feet. And she's waiting to hear one word. Not you're cute, not you're pretty, not you're a fox, not you're hot. What is she waiting to hear? You're beautiful, inside and out. And that word beautiful means what? Inside and out. When she hears her father say that, she goes, I'm arrived. My dad says that I'm beautiful. Isn't that important? Who tells the boy, the son, you're a man now, son. I'm behind you. I got your back. I love you. You got what it takes to be a man. Here's your man card. Who tells the boy he's a man? It's the father. How will a boy ever know he's a man until the dad tells him? What age will that be? What will happen in your son's life that will say, my son's now a man? Marriage, first job, leaves the house, goes to college, goes to the military, the workforce. When will you tell your son? Who says that? You, the man. Now, the man speaking truth, does that mean that the man is more important than the female? No, not at all. In fact, remember this, you watch any professional team, you watch the Cowboys lose today again, okay? I love the Cowboys. But really, I'm a big New Orleans Saints fan. You know why? You have to be if you're a Christian. Because the Bible doesn't say you can be a cowboy, or a Colts, or an Indian, or a Redskin. You're going to be a what? A Saint. So get used to pulling for your team. You're going to be a part of the Saints. Let's go back. Go back to, when you see those guys, the game is finished, running off the field, and some person sticks a microphone in the face of any player, he'll say hi to who? To mom. He never says hi to his dad unless his dad is dying. This is for you, Dad. I love you. Always his mom. Why? Because what's the mother teaching? Nurturing. When you're a boy and you're 7, or you're 9, or you're 10, and you scrape your knee, who do you go to, your dad or your mom? You're your mom. Why? Quit crying. Come on, there's no crying in life. You're a boy. Say you're a man. Get up, right? When the boy has his first heart broken, goes to his dad, seldom goes to the mother. What's the mom do? It's okay, Dave. Sit down here. There'll always be another. Here's a Coke, here's a cup. That's another, here's a cake. Eat it, this is going to be okay. He still hurts inside, but he knows I can always go to mom. She's always there. She's safe. So the mothers and nurse studies, this is going to blow you away. They say that 99.3% of all serial killers either had no mother or their mother wasn't a nurturer, never showed them the value of life and how to love. So they never learned that. So in their minds, life has no value. I can take it if I want to. Isn't that interesting? So the mother is crucial for nurturing. The father is crucial for speaking truth into the lives of the children. Is that amazing to you? I thought, wow, that's great. Well, without thinking before we go on, that hurry up. I'm way behind on you guys. Also this, have you ever wondered if your daughter dates a boy and she marries that boy, how will that boy treat your daughter after they get married? This is going to be shocking. The newest research came out about 2 years ago now. This is really kind of neat. So that 88% of the boys your daughter marries will treat your daughter after marriage the same way he treats who? His mother. The opposite sex parent. If you know how a girl will treat your son if they marry him. Okay? I don't care how long the dates, it doesn't matter. After the marriage is done and gone and consummated, okay, that girl would treat your son in 88%, 1 percentage point more than the boys, the same way that she treated her opposite sex parent, her dad. So I'm watching the girl on Sunday night on Warren Callahan said, how do you treat your dad? And she has high respect for him, which is good. That like so I go for everyone with this, but the impact you have, the influence you have on your child without ever even knowing it. Forget God's word or praying. It's just how God names you and make your children go to you. We're going to have to go real fast now, okay? Let me give you a verse first that is misused so many times. Okay? Proverbs 22:6 on your notes. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will what? Not depart from it. What does that word mean, to train up? Ready for this? The word train up is a Hebrew word, correct? It's only used 4 times in the whole Bible. 4 times in the Old Testament. The other 3 times it's ever used, that word literally means to taste or to hunger. It's used when they would pour honey on the Torah, and they would lick the Torah, learn how to love the Torah, like honey for your life. That's always used to taste. So you know what that phrase is saying? By how we as parents live our lives, we're to create in our children a hunger to know the God that we know. How we love Him, how we walk, how we live, how we live life, how we treat people. We're to create in them by how we love God, a hunger and desire for them to know God. And this is so the verse really says, if you'll create a hunger in your child to know God, that as he begins to age, or she begins to age, she will not depart from that. It doesn't mean they won't sin. Get drunk, get pregnant out of wedlock, get them drunk. It doesn't say that at all, does it? It just says that as they begin to age, they will return to that, which means what? When you create your children how you live your life, a hunger to know God and His Word, they may fall to sin. They may make a mistake. But that hunger to know God will drive them through that sin back to God. They want to know the God that you know. Isn't that powerful to you? I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, we dive into it. Let's get it. Look at number 3. Influencing your family is like walking with Jesus. It's not rocket science. It's not that hard. Okay? It is choices that you make. So it's not rocket science. It's not physics. My undergrad in college was microbiology, and my minor was biochemistry. Okay? And I know that walking with Christ is not that kind of way. It's not immunology, genetics, sociology, stats. It's not. Okay? It is choices that you make and how you will choose to spend your time. It is crucial. It's the choices that you make and how you will choose to spend your time. You remember this? If I tell me your first name, if Scott is a scholar in algebra, what does it mean to be a scholar? It means what? Very good, smart. You know that field. So if I want help in algebra, I'm going to the scholar, which is scholar. Correct? What does the word scholar mean? Do you know officially? It's so cool. The word scholar is a Latin word, schola, S-C-H-O-L-A. The word schola means free time. That's all that it means. Free time. What's it tell you about being a scholar? It's how you spend your free time. You want to be a scholar of algebra? You study algebra in your free time. You want to be a carpenter? You want to be a duck hunter? You want to like ice go shrimping? You want to go shrimping? You study shrimping. You spend your free time doing that activity. You want to know your children? You spend time with them. You invest time. Okay? So don't forget, your life is a choice. You're going to influence your children either way. And it's going to depend on the choices you make and how you choose to spend your time. Go a little further. And I believe this is going to be number 4, the key to influencing your family. Ready? The key to it sounds so simple, it does. Well, I'll show you one in a few moments. Is your walk with Jesus. It really is. Your walk with Jesus. How do I have more than one child? Or are your children all the same? Different. So when you raise one, you go, I got it made in the shade. Here comes number 2, and they blow you away. My first boy, I say, Josh, stop. That's it. He stops. I spent him twice his whole lifetime. I thought, this is easy. No, I think here comes Ty. I probably spanked him 4 times a day. At least. He'd walk into the house when he was like 4. He'd go, Dad, go ahead. What did you do? Just spank me first and I'll tell you. I deserve it. I'm going to it just cracked me up. I really did. Unreal. So go back. This is going to be important. Now, I wrote down a verse for you. There is no other way. The verse is Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. And then I put down Psalm 25, 14. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 is the most memorized verse in the book of Proverbs, correct? It's very familiar. But when you hear what it really means, it's going to blow you away. And the Psalm 25, 14 is even better. Say it with me if you know it. Okay, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not upon your own. In all your ways. And He will. So to get God to direct my path, what must I do? Acknowledge Him. Okay, tell me I'm in the back with the striped shirt on. Mike, hey Mike, I'm Johnny. Good to meet you. I acknowledge Mike. The word acknowledge there doesn't quite mean that. It's the word de'ehu in the Hebrew. D-E-H-A-H-A-H-U. De'ehu. It's only used twice in the whole Bible. There in Jeremiah 31, 32. It's never used again. Ever. Ever. So it is acknowledge de'ehu me, and I will direct your paths. What does it mean? The word de'ehu comes from the root word for sex. It really does. And the word literally means to actively seek to know someone intimately. Okay. If I'm going to be Mike's friend, when I leave here today, I'm a talking head. That's all that I am. You don't know me at all. I'm not your friend. So to be your friend, I got to do it. Hey, Mike, let's go hunt. Let's go fish. Let's go see a movie. Get your wife. We'll go together. We'll eat some place. I got to pursue him as a friend, correct? God said, if you will seek to know me. All right? Stop there for a second. The most amazing verse in the Bible, the most amazing verse ever written of God, is Jeremiah 10, 12 through 14. It is amazing. You know what it says? I love it. It says that God formed the earth and fashioned it. But by his understanding, he stretched out the universe. The word stretch means to create, to bring into being. So God formed the earth. But how did he create the universe? Does that verse say he spoke it? He threw it? No. What did the verse say? He did what? He understood it. It means God thought the universe into existence. He just goes, there it is. Not blow you away. He didn't speak it. He didn't form it. He just thought it. I'm going, oh my gosh. He thought the universe into existence. Where would I go for wisdom for my child? But through him, who understood the universe. And, Psalm 39, formed and fashioned my child when that child was in his mother's womb. Who knows my child better than anybody in the world? God. God formed him or her. And then God also understood the universe. Now tonight, when you go home, if the sky is clear, look outside. You'll see stars, right? Naked eye only, on naked eye. How many galaxies do those stars represent? I told the atheists when they were back here last night with you. One. You only see the stars from the Milky Way. You can't see any other star from any other galaxy, but just that one. If you look to the northeast, I think it's that way, you'll see a little bitty small oblong cloud like this, very small. That little cloud is the entire Andromeda galaxy. So naked eye, you see stars from the Milky Way and the entire Andromeda galaxy like this. But on July 29, 2013, a year ago this July, we just have discovered now officially 100 billion galaxies. Each one averages 1 billion stars. Each star in each galaxy averages 30 trillion miles apart. 30 trillion. That means nothing to us. You know, while we go to the debt, $1 trillion almost every month or more. We get used to it. But 1 million seconds is 12 days. 1 billion seconds is 31 years. 1 trillion seconds is 200,000 years. If you could get in a spaceship and go from the sun to the next star, Alpha Centauri, 30 trillion miles away from the sun, it would take you in a spaceship going 5 miles a second, which is not possible. None can go that fast. It would take you 233,000 years to get there. You just hit the first star of 100 billion times a billion. And how did God make it wrong? He thought about it. I'm going, oh my gosh. When God goes, if you acknowledge me, I will direct your path. I will say, go here, stop. Buy the house, don't buy it. Take the job in the other city, stay here in Crandall. Go here, not marry her, not her. Major here, marry him, whatever. I will direct your paths. And by the way, I understood the universe into existence. And in your mother's womb, I formed you. And I also did the same with your child. And I will give you what you need if you will seek to know me intimately. I'm going, you got it. Psalm 14 says this: the secret of God is for those who fear him. Wouldn't it be cool if the God who understood the universe said, I'm going to give you a secret? I'm going, yeah, what's your secret, God? But to get it, the secret of God is for those who fear him. I have to fear him, right? Now, how do you fear people? You respect them. You honor them. If you submit, Scott, you go, Johnny, give me a wall, I'm going to kill you. Like Bob and Hill, I go, take the wall, Bob. I yield to you, Scott, take it, go away. Wow. You would submit, obey, honor, respect. Especially if, like God, you could never get out of their presence because God's omnipresent. So what's God saying? If you will fear me, respect me, obey me, submit to me, yield to me, honor me, I will give you my secret. Well, what is God's secret? I don't know. It's an idea. I looked it up. The word secret is the Hebrew word for sod, S-O-D. Sod. You know what it means? So cool. The word sod means personal, intimate counsel. Is that not amazing? If you will fear me, I will give you the personal, intimate counsel for your life, for your children, for your job, for your friends, for your parents, for all that you face in life. I will give you the intimate, personal counsel for your life. Oh, by the way, I formed you in your mother's womb. I know you real well. And I understood the universe in existence. I go forever here, but let's go on. I was going to tell you, that's the key, is knowing him. Let's keep going. We're down 50 minutes. This is going to be big. And now, on number 4, I'll give you one more verse. Psalm 66:18. All that says is this: if you hold on to sin in your life, the Lord will not hear you. Your prayers are going. You can't have God's answers and God's direction if you're holding on to sin. I'm not saying you don't sin. We're all going to sin. But if you hold on to it willingly, because I'm not going to hear you. I choose not to hear you. Period. That's it. No more counsel, no following. And so the God that made you, well, that's pretty big to me. So that's what I'm saying. Your walk with Christ is the most important walk. Okay? You're going to face situations like I have before about my children that are devastating. They're devastating. And how you respond is going to be crucial. Okay? Scott, remind me of Walker Moore. Let's go on. Look at number. Let me give you some helps. This is big. Number 5, love them unconditionally. Okay? Now, what I'm going to say here, I'm going to give you some ways that are really going to be crucially important, okay, to your life. On number, is number 5 loving them? Is that right? Wait now. Oh, that's not what I have. Let me see yours. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. That's number 2. Number 2. Next key is loving your spouse. Oh, that's stupid, isn't it? This is going to shock you. They did a study last year on what is the most important thing that a man and woman, a husband can do for their children. Like love your kids, take care of them, feed them, don't beat them up. The number 1 thing you can do for your youth, the biggest important thing for your children, is to love your spouse. Is that not odd? Remember earlier how a man chooses his mother? What is the number 1 way that God describes in the Bible his relationship with mankind? It's marriage, isn't it? What do we call it? We're the bridegroom. What is Jesus? I mean, we're the bride. He's the bridegroom. So if a child grows up in a home where the marriage is confused and there's no loving the spouses, his view of how God loves him or her is also going to be confused. We spent hours here too talking about it on that one. Love him unconditionally. Okay, is the number next one. So the number next is loving them unconditionally. This is going to be very, very crucial. Okay, you ready? That's the 3rd key. Oh, I'm wrong there, aren't I? Gosh, stop me, because I changed it for y'all. Okay, this is a new thing. Okay, number 3rd key is having a heart connection. Now you heard Ross mention this, but the word heart connection comes from a guy named Ross Campbell. All it means is if you lose the personal relationship with your child, you're going to negate the opportunity to pass on spiritual values, things that are important about life to you. Rules without relationships leads to rebellion. But how do you either keep your heart connection as the children get older, or how do you repair when it's been lost? I'm going to give you 4 ways to do it. I'm getting pretty blunt in a second, okay, with you. 4 ways to develop a heart connection, to keep one you already have strong, or to rebuild a weak one. Because if you lose that, remember Ross' little pipe finger, a little pipe finger in your heart? The heart connection is like a little pipe between your heart and your child's heart. Having that close connection allows you to put things into your child's life and heart. If that is blocked off, you negate and lose the opportunity to do it. For example, your children will always respect you. You know why? Because you have the car keys, you have the house keys, you have the money. They have to yield to you at least until they're 18 and can leave home. So a lot of times they'll fake it. But with a strong personal relationship, you're allowed by God and by them to build into them. As a youth minister, I watched it be very important. That I never really knew a youth very well. I only knew of a youth what they wanted me to know. But they were revealed to me. The closer I got to a teenager, the more they opened their heart, I could see the real person. It's the same with you. But how do you keep one strong? Or how do you build one? First one is this is big. Number 1, love them unconditionally. There are 4 ways to build a heart connection. The first is to love them unconditionally. That means this. By your words you say and how you act, you say this to your child. There's nothing in the world you can ever do to make me stop loving you. Nothing. You can curse me out. You can get drunk. You can get pregnant. You can leave home and change your name where I never see you again. I'll be mad. I'll be hurt. Disappointed. Very angry too. But I will always love you. I will never stop loving you. Ever. Is that not important? To know that somebody loves you no matter what you do, unconditionally. Doesn't mean I won't punish you or discipline you or come down on you, but I'll always love you. You can't make me not love you. Does God love us the same way? Tell me your name again. Lisa. Does he go, Lisa? Next. No. What does God say? 139. He formed and fashioned you in your mother's womb. He ordains the days of your life. Doesn't mean he makes you do things, but he ordains, this is your birthday, Scott. This is the day you will die. This is set in stone. In between, you live your life. You make choices, the following or not. But your days of your life are ordained. Birth, death, that's it. You have this, some have a longer one, some are shorter ones. You have a certain time period to accomplish all that lifespan. I will love you all the days of your life. And I will always pursue you. I'm always coming after you. You come back to me, you repent and come back, I'm always here waiting for you. But I pursue you. It's going to be very important that you love your child unconditionally. Really crucially, huge. There's nothing you can ever do to make me stop loving you. Give you an example. My son's a school teacher, my oldest boy. He's a 6'4" football player, big guy. He has his hair, okay? Which I have my hair too. I wear a baseball cap in the summertime. It's horrible. Okay? He teaches 4th grade. Had a boy in his class 2 years ago named Kevin. It's a made-up name. Kevin, it's not the real name. 4th grader had a felony charge for child molestation in the 4th grade. That October, 2 years ago, Kevin molested a girl on the playground. The rules of the school is that when that happens, they call CPS immediately. They call the law. The principal, the school teacher, and the child is brought to their house, and they talk to the parent what's going to happen next, right? My son comes on the day in tears. And I said, what happened? My son is very stoic. Okay? For example, tell me your name in the yellow shirt. Hey, Cody, if you were my son, Josh's friend, and you had your arm torn off in a car wreck, my son would have said, Cody, I got your arm, but you're going to be fine. It's all right. I'll drive you to the hospital. Don't panic. He never panics. Never. He's very stoic. But that day, he comes home to see me, and he's crying from Dallas. I went, did you get fired? He goes, no. What happened, son? He said, about Kevin. He said, when they went to Kevin's house, walked in the door, here comes the mother out of the bedroom. She looks at the principal, looks at my son, and said these words, you know what? I don't care what you do, Kevin. Take him to jail, throw him, I don't really care. He's a foster child. The money I get for Kevin pays for my apartment rent each month. When Kevin's 18, he's out of here, and I don't give a rip. She walks into the bedroom. Leaves Kevin there with my son and the principal. Kevin turns to my son and says these words that shattered my son. He goes, Mr. Derouen, you're the only person I know in the world that loves me. Now, you know what? He has no parents, they're both dead. He's not smart, not a good athlete. He's not a big kid. He doesn't make good grades. He doesn't sing well. He doesn't play any instruments. So in his mind, there's nothing he can do. At 18 years of age, he's on the streets. My son goes, Dad, what can we do? He has nowhere to go. Nobody to go to college. Nobody to get a scholarship. There's nothing he can do, Dad. And he calls me his best friend, and I love him, and I do love him, Dad. But Dad, within 6 months, he'll be out of my class and gone. I'll probably never see him again. He's one of 22 kids in my class. Then how can we help this child? You know what I thought then? Here's a child that just wants to be loved unconditionally. That somebody would say, I just love what you do. I'm here. I love you. I care for you. And that breaks my heart. The same with your children. Let me honest to be. When your child knows that you love them unconditionally, then they will tend to come to you when they have a problem. When they really blow it, when they've messed up really bad, they come to you. Because they know that you will punish them or discipline them or correct them, but there's love behind it. I heard about you correcting Stephen. That's really important. When I know that, I don't like at all when God disciplines me. Do you? I don't. Period. But I know he loves me. And if I walk through this discipline, I will come out on the other side more mature, more genuine, and a stronger believer than a better man. So I'll let God take me through those times. Now, my job here is to parent my children the way God parents me. God gives me certain boundaries, not to cross. Certain laws, rules, commands, and it's always what? Anytime God says do this or don't do this, or to protect you or to provide for you. If I step outside of God's boundaries, what does God do to me? I don't worry about it, no big deal. No. He what? He disciplines those that he loves. So he'll step in to correct me so I won't hurt myself. Does that make sense? That's the deal. Let's go back. We only got about 7 minutes left. Look at number 2. This is big. I can outline each one of these. Number 2 way to build a heart and keep it strong is called significance. This is big significance, which means by your words and how you treat your children, you're giving them that you're important, your life is of value. And you think I wasn't going to say this to you at all, so that word is hard in this generation. It's close.
But any higher than this?
There are some children in your homes that would do anything because you encourage them. You go and you affirm them. Okay? I don't know you from Adam, but some of you men in this room, you would die. You would give anything for your dad right now, dead or alive. If he could call you on the phone and say to you, son, I'm proud of you. You're really a great man. You love your family. You love your wife. You work hard at your job to support your family. You're a man of integrity. I love you. I'm behind you. I'm so proud of you, and I'm glad you're my son. Some of you will never get that. I never did. But I swore, my dad was a good dad. He wasn't very verbal. Remember my dad, when he died, said, I will every day affirm my children that they're significant. It's important, extremely important. You think I'm crazy? Bible, ready for this? Jacob and who? Esau. Remember? They wanted their father's blessing. Esau was the oldest son. He already lost the birthright, right? The inheritance by selling his birthright for a bowl of soup. So there's no money in the blessing. But the father can give one child the birthright, okay, the inheritance, which is the oldest child usually, but Esau sold his. The only other thing they get is called the blessing. Only one son gets the main. They'll get little small ones, but one son gets the main blessing. It's where you listen, you're the best God, I'm proud of you, I'm behind it. It's just a blessing of your son. Esau wanted it badly. When he went out, remember for his father, and Jacob comes in and steals the birthright, the blessing from Esau. Esau comes in and he realizes that his blessing is taken from Jacob, by Jacob. What did Esau do? Do you remember? What's the first thing Esau did when he realized his words, the blessing of words from his father, had been taken from him? What did he do? You know the first thing? He wept bitterly. There's a man on the floor weeping like a baby. How old was Esau when he realized that the blessing was gone? Do you know? Give you a hint. Back one chapter, Genesis 26, his brother Jacob was 40. How was Esau? 40, because they're twins, right? There's a 40-year-old man on the floor crying like a baby in front of his brother and his dad. Why? Because he didn't get the words of significance from his dad. It is crucial. Some of you women would die for your mom to call you and say, I'm so proud of you, honey. You have a great job, you work hard, or you're a housewife, you give all the time to your family, you make the home look great. Glad you're my child. I love you as my daughter. Proud to call you my daughter. I'm behind you all the way. You would kill for that. And some of you will never get it, but you can still give it to your children. And I will every day of my life. Okay? So it's going to be really important that you pass on significance. You affirm them with a biblical self. You say, hey son, you're not daughter, you're not more important than anybody else. But God has given you certain talents that are very important to help you become the person you want you to be. And I am behind you. You are very important to God, and God's going to use you in a mighty way. I'm praying for you. Is that important? Huge. Number 3. We'll do number 3, and I'll give you the last one. We'll stop here. I'll come back one day for a coach from Crandall at Crandall Cafe. This is big. Number 3 is, I call it security or / safety. Security or safety. This is a big one. If you want to begin to build a heart at a very young age, begin to say, I love you, I'm behind you, I will never stop loving you, I affirm you, you're important to me, you're important to our family, I will give time to you, right? So how do you know this light cares for you? They give time. What's the only thing in the world, the only thing that you can give somebody else that's yours to give and is tangible? It's not your love. It's not tangible. What's tangible? Your time. That's all you can give. So when you give your time to your children, what's it tell your children? I'm really important to them. Okay, so, 1 second. This is big. On security, say, well, this is this. It said, as your child begins to age, you're always conveying to him or her this. There's no question that's taboo in our family. You can ask me anything. In fact, please, if I don't know the answer, I'll ask Craig. Or I'll call somebody else. We'll find the answer together. Is that not important? The biggest hurt I've ever had in my entire life as a youth minister, the biggest hurt I've ever had was in 2004. It's my last year as a youth minister. I was going to teach at seminary next year to go 5. And I'm walking down the aisle on a Wednesday night during the youth worship service. I'm walking to the front to tell my 2 MCs, hey, it's time to get started. Okay? So I'm walking, and my watch says 5 to 7. I'm almost there, and this boy grabs my arm. I turn around, there are 10 sophomore boys in a little pack. I said, hey, what's on your mind, guys? We want to ask you a question. I said, okay, what is it? Oh, no. This is really private. I go into the side room. So in the little side room, me and these 10 boys, I said, okay, ask me. They wouldn't tell me. I said, y'all, my watch says 1 minute till 7. You tell me now. What is the question? They said this, is masturbation right or wrong? Oh my gosh, I'm going, I gotta explain masturbation in 30 seconds? I said, there's no way. I said, guys, listen, I said, if you really want to know the answer to that question, get your Bible. You be back in this room next Wednesday at 6. I'll give us an hour, we'll talk about it. Deal? Deal. So they leave. They come back. 57 softball boys came back. 57. 7 I'd never seen before. I don't know who they were. They were like these mean kind of guys, like really kind of emo, golf kind of guys. And I knew they weren't believers. You know why? Because there were 7 of them all together. They all had the same little small orange Gideon New Testament Bible. All of them. And I thought, wow. All I guess is that they're at North Carolina High School, and they heard somebody go, there's a bald-headed guy with a mustache who's old, who's going to talk about masturbation. So they came to hear what he was going to say. So they're all here and said, before I start, here's my question to you. Why are you asking me this question? What they said hurt me deeply. They said, we'll tell you why. Who else can we ask? Can't go to our parents and that we're dirty. Can't go to the youth workers and laugh at us. You're the only person who will listen to us and give us a real answer and be honest with us. So what's the answer? I remember sitting there going, why can't a boy with a question that's serious go to his dad? Yeah, did you ever have a problem here? How did you fight that? What went through your mind? What helped you to overcome this area of your life? Go, can you help me, Dad? But why can't a boy go there? Why do they feel safe with their dad to ask him that kind of a difficult question? Isn't that hard? Okay, if that boy does not have a good dad like that, does not fall in the church, where would he go for the answer to masturbation? Where? Say. Okay, it's not about my church. There's no church to go to. Friends who will do, or what? They're just as goofy as he is, okay, right? Or they go where? Internet. Don't. If you Google the word masturbation, your first 10 drop downs are all pornographic websites. So instead of getting help, it makes it worse. Oh, wow. And worse than that, what if there's no internet capacity at that time? Friends are too shy, but go where? Another adult who may not be who you think they are. It's just scary. This is close. I want to convey, there's nothing you can't ask me, son. Oh, nothing. Nothing. It's crucial to me. I think it's being kind to your child, loving them unconditionally, affirming them. As they talk to you, they're going to test you first with very small answers, very small questions. The more you begin to open up and listen to them talk, they're going to say, my dad is safe. My mom is safe. I remember my older boy asked me, he was 10 or 11. He said, Dad, what is PMS? That's what she asked your mother. So he asked my wife, what is it? And she said, it's a woman's disease. I said, well, it's not. I remember this. So I told her what it was. Oh, I understand. So the next day, our 2 dogs were fighting, the girl boy dog. They're fighting. And the girl dog is nipping the boy dog's legs. And Ty goes, yeah, I think Callie has PMS. But who will grow up about periods? Who they ask about dating and life? I don't know about you, but I want them to come to me badly. Listen close. This is the biggie. If you read Deuteronomy, the Shema, chapter 6, 4 through 9, and you stop there, you made a bad mistake. You read verses 1 through 27, the whole chapter. It'll tell you what you teach your children is how to love God, by how you live. If you're living a life loving God, and this is so cool, from verses 10 to 21, gives you 9 ways to do it. So if you're living for Christ, loving Him, showing them how to love God, also open the door for them to talk to you, and you spend time with your children, they'll begin to ask you questions. And then answer it like that. Why would you do this? What about this? And you'll be able to teach them from their own questions. I always ask, when should I sit down with my child and talk about sex and dating? Or masturbation, or intercourse, or whatever. I always wait and I watch them closely when they're ready to, when they're asking questions, when they're curious about this spot. That's why I'm not going too long. I'm going to take time to ask them how to go through. Okay. So on security, or you give your children a chance to ask questions. Listen close. This is big. My son's a really, really good soccer player. He has 7 scholarship offers now as a senior. He's really, really good. We were playing a game one time up in at Bishop Park. There's in Solar, the thing called Solar soccer team, where he lost a game. Made a really bad play. They lost the game. In the car, he said, "Hey, Joel, I said, Ty, you okay?" He goes, "Dad, you still love me?" I said, "What?" "Dad, I lost the game." "I lost the game." I said, "So? It's a soccer game. Who cares?" 10 years from now, "Dad, I lost the game." "No, son, I love you for who you are." And I was kind of, I wanted to win the game. I wanted to be the hero. Don't you want to try to be the hero too? But he wasn't. He was the goat. I said, "No." He goes, "Are you sure?" I thought, you know what? He's testing me. to see, do I really love him unconditionally? Okay. Now let's go this way. Okay. I'm going to close with this last one. And I'm going to read to you a quote out of a book. 2 quotes. You got time? 3-4 minutes? The fourth way to keep a heart connection going is the word on the back. Focused time. Focused time. Okay? If you invest focused time, it'll take that if you begin to build deep relationships. Malachi 4:6 is the last verse in the Old Testament. It's the last one. Okay? It says this, in the latter days, the sons and the fathers, and it really means mothers and daughters too. It's a generic term in the Hebrew. The children will turn their hearts back to their parents, and the parents their hearts back to their children, or I will smite the land with a curse. Does God ever lie? No. He says, you better turn back your heart to each other, or I will smite your land. How many years passed by between Malachi 4:6 and Matthew 1:1, the next time God spoke to the nation of Israel? You know how many years passed? 400 years. The guy goes, turn your hearts back now, I'm going to smite your land. He means it. And 400 years passed by before they ever heard the word of God again to the nation. What would you do? The guy goes, I will not see again the Central Baptist Church. Not again for 400 years. I'm changing churches. I'm going someplace else. Seagullville, I don't care where. Because of the she had more time. I brought you some books here. You can't have these books, but they're amazing on parenting. Need some help. Some are phenomenal, like how do you mentor your own children? This covers 66 big problems that you face. How do you counsel them in your own home? It was just phenomenal. This is a great book on helping your child get a mind for God. Look how small it is. It's amazing, it'll blow you away. This is on how you parent your children having problems. Let me give you 2 quick little stories. Well, this is the best book ever written on maturity, culture of today's youth. This is called Art of Maturity by Tell Me More. It's amazing. And I just finished a book about Derouen. It's called Accelerate. Is how do you parent your teen toward adulthood? And it's how not to find your 25-year-old son or daughter living in your basement. And so this is how you parent your children and help them mature. At the end is a module website for free, and it gives you 400 little modules on how to teach your child sacred, how to buy a car, how to avoid debt, or how to pray, read God's Word, choose a mate. Kind of cool. You can have it free. Here goes. 2 cool things. Hold your hearts. Ready? This is the best book ever written on parenting. By far. I've read thousands of them. Okay? Listen to this. It's going to blow you away. This is a quote from Lyndon Baines Johnson. Who is he? Was the president. He wrote this, died the next day. It's the last thing he ever wrote. It was the final paragraph to his autobiography. He wrote it and he died. The last words of an American president. This is what he says. I've been reading Carl Sandburg's biography on Abraham Lincoln, and no matter how great the book's supposed to be, I just can't bring Lincoln to life. I can't see Lincoln as a real person. If that's true for me, one president reading about another president, then there's no chance the ordinary person in the future will ever remember me. No chance. I've been better off looking for immortality through my wife and my children and their children in turn, instead of seeking all that love and affection from the American people. Wow. A man was said, if I could do it again, if I could live it again, I would spend more time with my wife, my children, and my grandchildren, and less time trying to seek the love and affection of the American people. Is that amazing? I don't know from him. Okay? I told you this about focused time. We have more time with it. This will help me. I know my time is busy, right? So is yours. For my personal zone of time, I'll reach a level of this is why. It's going to blow you away. It's close today. If you can. I'll give you more. I only have 45 minutes. That's all I have. This is a biggie. Set aside, if your children are young now, you're blessed. You're blessed. You pass 7th grade, it gets a lot harder. It does. The way you spend time with a 9-year-old is not the way you spend time with a 15-year-old. You have to learn how to do it. You have to grow with it and be a student of their world. To go back, when they were 4, 5, 6, and 7, I chose a day of the week. Okay, and that became, I go into school at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I take them to school, we spend from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock together. My son Josh was on Tuesdays, my son Ty was on Thursdays, all the way up to they got to high school. They play sports together after sport, they finish, or I go watch them practice, we do it together, whatever. At the high school sports, well, I had to change some of the days, but still, it's our time together that one night. So what do you want to do? You may go fishing, you may go walking or running or riding a bike, or pay some cash, go see a movie, go play golf, go get a meal, rent a movie. I don't care what you want to do. Play games for an hour, 2 hours. I'll do. It's your time with me. It's 4 hours. You're not together. What do you want to do, son? Once a year, I take each one out individually, not together, never together, separately, on some kind of adventure. It could be a one-day thing, overnight. It could be a week. Brought my youngest son Ty to fishing at the Calcasieu River, the Middle Cut in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Right, my dad brought me when I was young, so I take you to where you can't get your boat except in the middle of the swamps. This is amazing fishing. There's the gators. It's unreal. We had a blast. My oldest son, Josh, he was a 6th grader. We went to Disney World for 7 days. I'm a youth minister. I don't have the money. First they were there, I threw a fish right at them. The fish right into the eye. Versus contact, the 250 pieces. They go to the ER room and pull out each one of those little pieces, 250 of them. Then we go to Disney World the next day. Here's where it was. An iPad. Great. They ruined our vacation with the French fry. But what happens if you have an iPad at Disney World? You get in front of the line every ride. We had such a play, the next day it comes up, we had the best time in the world. Unreal. So when you invest time with your children, dumb things, God steps in and creates memories for a lifetime. It's too close. This book called The Dash. You can't say part of the Bible. It's given to almost every school. I never knew why it was written until this became my wife 2 years ago. Here's the form of it. Written by a girl who's, on the day her mother died, her father went home to his house and loved her mother deeply. He went up into the attic and got the box, had all the memorabilia they had kept when they first met in high school and a few years after that. He was trying to find a picture of his wife when they first met as a junior in high school. Looking into the box, he found his old business diary. His wife put it in there. He pulled it out and he read this. June the 4th, he said, wasted the whole day fishing with Jimmy. Didn't catch one thing. You ready? But I wonder how my son felt. In that box, he realized his wife had forced the children to keep at least a little diary from age 7 they finished high school. Even just one sentence what happened that day. So he found his son Jimmy's diary, this lady's brother. And he read this on June the 4th with large, scrawling letters printed on the paper. He read this. Went fishing with my dad. Best day of my life. Dad caught nothing. Son didn't matter at all. He had time with his dad. Wow. Let me tell you, the beginning point for us is walking with Christ, loving our spouse, and working hard to create a heart connection. You lose that, you lost everything. Walking with Christ, he gives you the wisdom. Can I close one more story? You okay? One last time? You will. End this story. One of my best friends had a book called Rite of Passion. He's a youth minister in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Also, he's a chaplain for the Tulsa Police Department. He's an amazing man, great guy. He's in his house one day at night, it's midnight, door opens, goes to the door, and there's 3 policemen. And they go, Walker, you need to come with us. He loved you to come with us. If they got in the car with him, drove to a place, he saw his son's car. And his son was against the cop car, cut behind his hands. And he said, what's happened here? He goes, we arrested your son for cocaine, possession, and distribution. Oh, it's a felony charge, Walker. And he goes, so we want to give you a chance. You're our chaplain. We love you deeply. So we want to give you a chance to take your son home. We won't go home. Take him home now. Walker goes, he wasn't my son. He wasn't my son. He was born. We take him to the jail. Take him to the jail. He said, my son looked at me, told me years later, and he cursed me out. He said, I hate you for saying me. You could have saved me. You could say, I hate you while I was in the jail. Got a felony charge. One of the things, the probation thing was this. He had to spend the next year of his life at home with his dad. He was not a college freshman. He said, walked to dad Johnny, for the next year of my life, he was living hell for me. My son cursed me every day for a whole year. Made fun of me, laughed at me. It was horrible. As the year went by, he slowly began to change about where my son was. Johnny, I love my son. I did all the right things for him. We had devotions, we prayed together. I did all that a man should do. He still chose the wrong thing to do. At the end of the year, it was a lot better. He got off probation, became business again. Now his son today is a pastor. And use that story to say, when my dad turned me in, I did hate my father. I wasn't lying about I hated my dad's guts, but I realized now that was a turning point of my life. I began to realize I have to hold up to my own life. I have to take care of my own consequences, and God means it. And that guy's now a pastor. It's too close. When you walk with God, he'll give you the wisdom for your children. Can you pray for you as you go? It's good to oh, we love you so much. I pray for these great parents who came by today this morning for just a short 45-minute jump. That what it means to walk with you and influence our children. And I pray, Father, they will spend time with them, invest great time. They will give them significance, affirm them, God. We'll give them a chance to talk and share it, and about any question they want to have at the end of a young age. And last God, they will invest great time with them. going to get to see a movie or go eat someplace, or just go fishing or hunting, or play tennis, or wherever, like golf, doesn't really matter. Go see a musical, whatever I need to do, go spend time with your child. We love you, God. I pray that you will give them the benefits of building a heart connection with your children, so they pass on things of value. Thank you, we love you, Lord. As we pray, amen. Thank you, that was quick and fast.